Alright, Eric, now we're going to try to go over some basic stuff as far as backup. So you have three main bar chords. You have just the regular bar chord, and then you have the F-shaped bar chord, which is up here playing the F chord. Now these are just the first four strings. They're not the high string. So here you have an F-shaped chord with 4 fingers. You put your pinky here, put your ring finger here. I guess we could start with the index here on this string here. So it's the 2nd string, 1st fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and 4th string right here on the 3rd fret. So you kind of make this like diagonal thing with your pinky here. So that's the F-shaped chord, and if you move it up, you have the F sharp or G flat chord, and then you have G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp or E flat, E, and then we're back to F. So I haven't changed my shape at all. So when you play backup, lots of times you'll be jumping to the different chords. So you have your G shape here, your 1, and your 4, and your 5. And I'm assuming you already know about those chord progressions. If you don't, 1, 4, 5 is just the general chord progression in most bluegrass songs, because they resolve. And then it resolves back to the G. So I'm hoping that the audio picks that up alright. I don't know if I'm too close to the mics, like right here. So yeah, so you have your F-shaped chord, you have your bar chord, so you have your open G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G. And then if you go backwards, you go G flat, F, E flat, D flat, C, B flat, A flat, G. So there are many other chords, obviously, that are 4-finger chords that you can move up and down, like the minor. That's basically these, this one and this one, and then these two take up the next 2. So again, you're just playing these top 4 strings here, and not this one. And so you'll be doing different rolling patterns and stuff. I'm just really tired because we just went and set up this tent over at Starvy Creek, and I'm for the bluegrass festival, so I'm just kind of exhausted. But I tried to make this video a few days ago, and it was you couldn't really see what I was doing very well, and so I just needed to redo it. Anyway, the next, and these are all, apart from the bar chords, which can be kind of tricky as far as getting them all held down, because usually I'll pinch the back the back of this. I'm pinching it with my thumb. So I'm doing this with it. I'm not just holding it down. So then there's, so that the F-shaped chord, they call it the F-shape, so like this would be the F-shaped G, the F-shaped A, F-shaped C, and F-shaped D. And people will they'll use that kind of language, so it's just good to be familiar with it. So then there's the D-shaped chord that actually starts all the way up here with the C chord. But I'm going to show you the full chord. So at D, and this one's just, it took me about a year to be able to make this shape well. So don't expect to be able to do this right away. It's just something that you kind of have to work toward. So don't be discouraged about it. So you put your pinky on that first string on the, what is it, the 4th fret. Put your middle finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Put your index finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And then this one's going to be on the same 4th fret, but on the 4th string. And then you have your D chord. So this is the D-shaped D chord. So then we come up here. That's the D-shaped E chord. D-shaped F chord. D-shaped G chord. D-shaped A chord. And so on and so forth. I'm assuming that you know that the B and C and E and F are always right next to each other, and everything else has to skip a step. If at least on as far as the what do you call it? The the major scales. So you have like G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Actually, there's an F sharp in it, but if you go to the C, is that a C? Yeah, C. Now here we go. C, E, F, G. No, that's not right. C, E, F, C. Oh man, I can't even. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Yeah, see, I'm losing it. You know, it's about to be 100 degrees tomorrow. I don't even know if you're still in the States, but if you are, then you understand. So anyway, what happens a lot of the times with these different bar chords, as far as doing backup, is that you'll jump from one to the other. So here we have a G, and then we have a C, and then we have the D. And so the D's grounded, or I call it sort of like your feet of the chord, are on that 12th fret, and you'll see the 2 dots. Usually here some kind of special symbol. And then the C is at the 10th fret, and then the G is at the 5th fret. So you have, like, as far as really common chords in the bluegrass world, the G, C, and D, they're really obvious where they are. So it's easy to start with those. What you're eventually going to want to be able to do is have this F-shaped chord and jump down to the D-shaped G down here. So you have G, G, F-shaped G, D-shaped G, F-shaped G, D-shaped G. And so then you can do like the blues thing that starts out. That's how it actually is, because you're actually hitting this note right here as a G. You'll get someday really familiar with that note right there. because that's familiar. And then the C at the 10th fret here. It's got the your little dot or your little icon there, inlay. So that's that blues riff. So then you get Earl Scruggs coming in and doing his. So that's a little bit of Foggy Mountain Special, but as you can see, what we're actually doing is just taking the root of this F-shaped G, sliding down here to the D-shaped G, and then just kind of going around with some of the little notes around here, and then doing it again, and then going to the C, and going down to its D-shaped C, and doing the same little song and dance routine, then going back up and doing it again with the G. And so you kind of see these little patterns. So it looks crazy, but it's all very organized. You know, and you can do weird, you know, and do your little. You know, you can do pull-offs or hit-ons or whatever. And then that last chord that I went to, I was just going to the 5, which is the D chord, you know, the and so it resolves back to the G. And so what we're resolving back to is the D-shaped G down here. And I just did these fingers, but I'm just playing part of this. Of course, this is also doubles as your E minor, but I don't even want to get into that because, like I said, these are shapes that are difficult to hold the entire shape, but don't get discouraged. It's something you just kind of have to work up to. But it's just stuff that I wish someone had explained to me early on, and you can just have it. And when you go back, you can rewatch it and be like, oh, okay, maybe 6 months later it'll make a little more sense. Another thing to know when you're doing backup, so let's say you have your your D-shaped G here, alright? So then you come up here, you switch these two, and you've got your fourth chord progression, the C. Well, then you can go back to that G, and then your bar chord for your 5th, which is your D, is right there. And then, oh, lo and behold, your minor chord is right here. So now I have the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, and the minor, or the full minor would be this. But so now I have 4 chords that I would use in common songs of every single type, all within the 4 frets just right here. So I don't even have to jump around. You can just I couldn't believe it when I found that out. That was really cool. I'm just really tired right now, so yeah. So that's some common stuff. The other thing I wanted to go over was different rolling patterns. I think I started with some of the things with you as far as the pinching pattern, and then the alternating thumb roll, and the purpose of you can use the alternating thumb roll and backup, and you'll use bits of it in different songs, you know. But and you don't have to hide. You can. My husband's being cute. He's listening to me ramble on about banjo stuff. We just have a tiny apartment, so there's not much. Yeah. Anyway, so the and I think I explained this in the. I have to go back and re-watch what I actually sent you. I can't even remember, but I know I'm pretty sure we did the pinching patterns, which I mean you'd have to get the camera up. I don't even want to mess with it, but if we were able to. Oh God, that looks terrible, but that's okay. I wonder if I can. Oh, I can. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so this. I don't know if this. I hope this doesn't look backwards to you, but so you have the center string, the outside strings, and then fourth string. So that's what that's doing. The alternating thumb roll is where you use your thumb, takes care of these three strings. Your index finger takes care of the second string. Your middle finger takes care of the first string. Now there are times where your index finger is going to be hitting any one of these, and even your middle finger is going to be hitting other ones, and your thumb coming up here and hitting the first string, or any of them really, but primarily this one will be hitting mostly these, and these two will be hitting mostly these. Alternating thumb roll is the third string, second, fifth, first, fourth, second, fifth, first. That's really hard to say. So I want you to listen to that and listen to how it sounds, so that when you're playing and you feel like you have the wrong note, go back and listen to what I'm actually playing and hear what those notes sound like, because music is all about listening, and that's something that, you know, I told you I took for granted playing with all that tablature. So we're gonna play that pattern. I'm gonna try to put you up here. I don't know. Oh shoot. Yep, that's my computer. Okay. Alright. Oh my. That was not good. Okay. Oh. Guess I should have paused it. So we have the open G, and then we have the C chord, which is just like the D chord, only if we go up, I don't know if you can see that. So what we're doing, but instead of doing these 3 fingers, which would be really awkward, traditionally, you put your ring finger here, your index finger on that 2nd string, and then your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And then you have your C chord, your low C chord. So then what I'm going to have you do is you're going to take this finger off, and then you're going to take the middle finger and just move it to the 3rd string. So from the 4th to the 3rd. And this is a D7 chord. It is the same as coming down here, or going here. So there's different ways of playing the same thing. I know why that is, because, well, if you're down here playing and you don't want to go jump all the way up here and have these lower sounds, but then if you're playing up here and you want a D7 and this just doesn't sound right, you know. Anyway, so you go, and we're gonna go to that C chord. Lift off that ring finger, but really you just want to keep it right here. Then we're going to move this finger here, and then just lift off entirely. Oh man, I botched that up. I can't even do this stuff, so don't feel bad. Jeez. But yeah, so you would just I think that was like my first 2 weeks of playing, was just hundreds of hours of doing that with a metronome. And use your, where's that camera? Use your metronome. Don't be like my husband, because if you suck at everything else, but you still have good timing, you will get a ton of compliments. And because you can't go wrong. Even if you're like, all I can do is just vamping. But if you can do that in time and not be doing like a, you know, if you can, you're gonna fare a lot better, especially in jams. I don't know if you're wanting to do jamming, but it's a whole heck of a lot of fun. It is more fun than just picking in the closet. But a lot of people have to do that for a long time before they have the courage to get out. I didn't really know what I was missing, so now I don't think I could go back. The other thing is planting. I don't know if we talked about that or not. I'll bring this down here. Alright, so chords are good in the place here. It's only dark. I want to see if I can turn this a little more light. Okay, so you have your banjo here, and so actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna sort of do something avant-garde here. Alright, so now you're looking at the banjo like I'm looking at it, okay? And so I have my hand, and I've, until recently, been planting pretty much in the center, if you can see that. And so there's advantages to that. Has sort of a mellower tone, and it sounds really good when you're just playing by yourself. But if you want to do some of those harder, faster driving songs, you want to stay about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch from that bridge for doing those melodies, doing those breaks. Has more of a punchier, brighter tone. When you're doing backup, you can come down here, and it has more of a mellow tone. Oh, that wire's hitting those strings. See if I can fix that. Okay. Alright. So I hope you can get the sense, and play around with the strings yourself, and you'll get a feeling. I mean, you can even play on the neck if you want. Like sometimes I'll kind of plant these on the side, curve them a little bit so I don't hit that first string. But you can play on the neck. It's just whatever you want to do. If you can do it and it sounds cool, go for it. There's no rules, except ones for being broken, as far as music, if it sounds cool. But yeah, if you're doing hard driving melodies, lots of times you want to go down there, but just listen to it. A couple other things that people have said to me is try not to press the drum head with whatever finger you use, because everything touching the drum head will dampen the sound. So I had this one guy who was telling me, and he's like been playing for 100 years, to just, if you can, just kind of really lightly just plant it on there, but you don't have to put down roots, okay? And you can use your pinky, you can use both. I use my ring finger, but it's just whatever you want. Another thing that you may want to consider, so most people, when they start playing banjo for a while, they switch to the plastic picks for the thumb and keep metal ones for the fingers. Most of them hammer these back and don't do what I do. I've heard some famous banjo players that have left them like this, like mine, and other ones don't. There's tons of different types of picks. With the plastic ones, I have a lot of trouble with them, turning, like actually spinning around like that, or doing that when I'm playing. And so I did what my instructor told me, and what Earl Scruggs says in his book that I think you said that you had, which is to cut, just use a little knife and go around the inside. I don't even know if you can see it or not. You see those scratches? I don't know if it comes in focus here. If you see those where it's kind of like it looks, those are scratches that I made in there with a Swiss Army knife, and I did it all the way around. That touches my skin, and it keeps it a lot more in place. So it actually does work. Also keep in mind that these things will wear down over time. Probably after, it just depends on how much you play. I play a lot. This is my newest one, and I'm already seeing that it's starting to go down. So anyway, that's just some good information about that type of thing. Yeah. Let's see here. So, I guess another rolling pattern. Well, maybe we should go back. Well, maybe I could do this. Yeah, that's not so bad. Just trying to get where you can actually see it. Okay, so bottom string, top string. So we have the forward backward roll that starts out. There's a couple of ways to doing this one. Start out with the middle string, then you take your index finger, hit that second string, middle finger, hit the third or first string, sorry. Alright, so that's the first part of the roll. We're going to come up here, and I call it touching home bass, because you're just always kind of rolling and then hitting that string and rolling, and then hitting that string and then doing something, and then hitting that string. So that high string. And then we're going to go back with the middle finger, index finger on that second, and then the thumb on the third, and then go back, and we're going to touch the home bass up here. So it's that a bit, that way you can kind of hear how that sounds. If you start practicing it and it doesn't sound like that, you're probably hitting the wrong string. But you can slow these videos down, you know. So the variation of that is, instead of using, if you notice, we did not use the fourth string. So the variation is not using the third string and using the fourth string instead. So everything else is the same. With banjo players, we like to switch it up, and so what people will do is they'll either start with the fourth string and then end with the third, or start with the third and end with the fourth. And what I mean by that is, like, so start with the fourth, and then rather than doing this like the roll calls for, you do this. So we're ending it as if we were starting it on the third, but we aren't. And the opposite is starting it on the third and ending on the fourth. Sorry. So, you know, that's just kind of a real common. And when you get used to playing this one, then you'll start hearing it, and you know, you have that C-shaped chord, and then the D7, so that's the forward backward roll. And I think sometimes it's called the forward reverse roll, but it's the same thing. Then there's just the regular forward roll on the first 3 strings, and that is literally so I call it the turnaround, where we don't hit that note again, because you can do this. But that's not the roll pattern. It's so I call it the turnaround. Is because if you're playing in 4/4, that's going to be a measure, because every note counts for an 8th note in 4/4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so your metronome would just be clicking like click, 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 and you'd be playing in the clicks and out of the clicks. In the clicks and between the clicks. The ticks. Whatever. I don't want to say ticks because it makes me think of bugs. Alright, what's so then the opposite of that one. The same thing, only instead of leading with the thumb, we're leading with the middle finger. So that's just the backward roll on the first 3 strings. So then you have the forward roll traditional, which is you start with the middle string, and we're just going to play the middle string and the outer strings. And so the thumb's going to take care of this middle string on the first note, then the middle finger is going to take care of that, the first string. The thumb's going to come up here in the time that it takes for you to hit this, and it's going to hit the 5th string. And then it's preoccupied, so the index finger is going to have to hit that 3rd string. Notice it's just like those other 2. I don't know why the lights are flickering. So it's like I'm using too much power or something. I normally don't have much light on, so at the beginning of each measure, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you notice, I'm going back each time on 1 and using my thumb on that middle string. So your thumb plays the melody like 90% of the time, except when it just doesn't work out. Because the thumb is going to be able to hit the notes harder, has more power behind it, it's going to be able to bring out that melody better without having to try so hard. Like having to hit up here with your, it's just awkward. Like even coming up here on the first string. That's okay. I'm really thinking I need to turn out those lights. This is kind of freaking me out. I don't know if you're seeing, you're probably not even seeing the flickering, or maybe you are, but it's just hot. It's very warm outside. Okay, so we got the big chord roll. So get good at that. That's something like these rolls, the weird fingering up here on your left hand, you're gonna take some time to get, but just really start working on these rolls. And a lot of those chords, you know, like with just chord roll. So when you're practicing you can come down here and do your, you know, hold on that first string. Is anywhere along the fretboard, because they're all chords. At this point, it doesn't really matter. So you would have your pinky here, your index finger on the second string, 2 frets up from wherever, and then your middle finger on that third string. And so you do that, and then we're just going to do that forward roll. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can go up 1. You can do the backward roll. You can even do the if you don't have the strength for that one, just do the forward backward roll, not using the 4th string, just using the 3rd string. So you do. You can do your C right here. So then of course your other chord shape, your D-shaped chord, is just a little diagonal line. So you have, I'll come down here. So we have, well, maybe here. Okay. So we have that on that first string, I'll go here. Index on the second string. No, sorry. Index on the third string. Then middle on the second string. Do you see that? That's what I'm wanting you to see. See, that's I'm trying to yeah, that's retarded. We'll just come down here. So we have this one, and then this guy is going to go on that next string, and then this guy is going to go on the third string. So that's the inverted. If I was going to put my 4th finger down, it would go over here, but we don't have to do that because we're not playing that string. And I'm just putting my finger all the way so that you can see it. Maybe there. So then you have your fingers here doing sounds a little weird, but if you had this 5th string capoed, it wouldn't sound that weird, you know. I didn't even realize you could do that. That's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, so you have like, then we have the D shape. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. Alright, so move that out of the way. So that's the chord that I'm holding right there at the 12th fret, which is right here. Remember, we have that. That's actually an E, or no, that's a C. Sorry, C, F, C, G, and then this is the E minor. Or, I'm sorry, A minor. But yeah, so you have your. Anyway, they're all right there within those 4 frets. And play 4-chord song, and you're not moving anywhere. As far as jumping all around, unless you want to jump all around. Okay, this is a really long video. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of dragged on. Like I said before, you can just kind of take your time going through it, or whatever. That's probably like way too much information overload, but I don't know, it's all really fun to me. I enjoy this, and I hope that it helps you in your banjo journey. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. It's getting late. Woo! Yep. There's my ceiling.